Good morning, welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we are currently in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, and I thought I would take a risk today with some high RNG farms, so to speak. What I intend to do is the Garrosh Hellscream encounter along with the Spring raid thing, so the Terrace of Springs or whatever it's called, the Terrace of Endless Springs. There you go, Endless Spring. But that being the case, that's what I've been doing with my 5 characters. It's taken about an hour, and at this moment in time the gold per hour on this is very low because it is such a funny drop chance. But I wanted to take the chance for today, as we're basically doing daily videos, so even if I fail today, we can make it up the following day. Also, I want to go over a little bit of WorthIt for the next update. Obviously, I know I did a hotfix of it last night just to update the TOC file, because for obvious reasons, if I forgot to update the TOC file, it's going to say it's not an up-to-date version. So I quickly fixed that. But other than that, guys, let's go into the downfall of Garrosh Hellscream, and we will try and see if we can get any of this. Aside from all of that, I have been trying to get hold of the Dredge Leather thing. I just finished watching, actually, while running through with all of my other characters, Want to Buy Gold's video for the Dredge Leather farm, which also about a week ago Happy told me about. And basically, that is why I've been trying to get a hold of the rank 2, and I can never seem to find that chum. I do know how to get a hold of it and all of that jazz. It's just a case of trying to get hold of that chum. For some reason it's just not dropping for me, and I'm being exceedingly petty about it, being a little child, because it won't drop. Sounds like me when I'm doing transmog farming and my item doesn't drop either. So what I intend to do now is just to come in here, and for some reason I just like to kill this guy as well, and because everyone else is frozen and all that jazz, so I just like to blow all of that stuff up, throw a glaive at that guy, I tend to seem to have a bit of fun with this first little part, just prattling around really. But you don't really have to do all of the mass killing. The only ones that really do matter is these ones over here, so that's what I intend to do. And basically just make sure that you burn all of these guys down. I throw a glaive at that guy. There will be 3 waves of people coming up through the pipes before you can come down to hit Black Fuse. Now Black Fuse drops the Black Fuse Bombling, of course. And basically what goes on here is we are basically trying to get hold of that particular battle pet. So with the Adventures Guide, we're going to come into here and we're going to go down to Black Fuse Bombling, and it drops off of Black Fuse, of course. But aside from all of that, that is basically what I'm dealing with all of that. So make sure they're all dead, and then we're just going to jump through the pipes and we're going to kill the Black Fuse dude. So try and see if we can get hold of the battle pet. We have not got this battle pet just yet. It's kind of irritating, but obviously low drop chances are very annoying. But we still didn't get it. Obviously it's an RNG based farm, so if you want to do it, it doesn't take that long to do, even with just one character. It basically will take you like no time until to run it through with loads of your ults. But the more ults you do it on, the higher chance you have of getting these battle pets. Obviously I was very unlucky, and I'm not always very lucky in the RNG based stuff. So yeah, that's more of a realistic approach to RNG based farms. The gold guide people don't always win. Yeah, pretty much. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn left once we've double backed after we kill Black Fuse, because we're going to be wanting to come into finding Kovok, who has the chance of dropping the Kovok battle pet. So what I intend to do is just to make sure that we can get around here. I will throw another glaive at this guy, make sure he dies as well. You don't really have to kill these guys, you don't really aggro them, you could probably just run past, but I tend to just love to kill them when I actually fly past and all that jazz. More or less just a satisfying thing, like I've just glided in the air and I've just taken you out. Ta-da-da. But right, here is the boss room for these guys. Now there is a little mechanic that does bug out sometimes when you're actually doing this, so I will go over it when we actually start the encounter for this fight. Now obviously Kovok's there, he's just an ordinary elite mob, but for the sake of simplicity, we will first get rid of these guys and then we shall get into the encounter as well. So what you want to do is just take out Kovok as well and just make sure that he dies. So he will die pretty damn easily. He just drops and we got a Mote of Harmony to go along with that. That's pretty cool. But you press this little base of amber to start the encounter and you have to fight all of the little paragons. If you remember from Siege of Orgrimmar, they'll all jump down, try and kill you. All you've got to do is just make sure that they die. And so on and so forth. You just keep attacking them, keep attacking them. It's not a hard encounter to do, but sometimes if you kill them way too fast, these paragons, that they do bug out and you will have to start the encounter again. And you're constantly in combat for over about a couple of minutes. So if you're with a night elf or if you're able to go invisible, just go invisible and reset the encounter. That is the one thing that I would say is a good takeaway from all of this jazz. But other than that, just killing all of these paragons, and then hopefully this doesn't actually bug. But I'm hoping that it doesn't bug. Hopefully, but it seems like it has actually bugged out. So that means we're going to have to redo this encounter once again. So this is kind of a blessing in disguise that it's just had to redo this for me. So if you kill them too fast, sometimes it bugs out and you have to redo the encounter before you can do it again. You just got to wait for the amber to come up and you press the manted amber and then restart the encounter. So about all of the 5 times that I've done it, it's only happened an additional 2 as well as this one, so make it 3 out of 5 times that I've had to restart this encounter. But it's really not that much of a laborious task in order to do. It's just a little bit annoying, so to speak. So just make sure that these guys die, and you shouldn't have a problem, so to speak. But when it comes to just finishing this off, I'm just going to burn these guys down. I've got the Paragons of the Calaxy. That's when you know that you've got it. And we did not get Kovok. So what we're going to be doing now is just make our way over to the last encounter of this raid. And that is for Garrosh. Now, I do understand that you can also get another battle pet within this raid. And I deliberately chose not to because the drop chance for the droplet for the droplet of Yasharaj and the Gooey Sharling, which is in another pet part of this raid, is a lower drop chance than these ones that I'm doing now. So that's why I've decided not to bother with actually doing all of this. This is just satisfying, just killing all of these mobs. So I'll just fly over, ta-da-da-da, boom, and they die. But yeah, other than that, it's mainly just a case of just nuking the bosses down. You really don't have to worry about many mechanics. The only thing that I would say just be wary of is the one that's coming up right now, which is Garrosh's one, because he's got a couple of phases in his fight, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to mess it up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that we'll wait for this dialogue to all come through, and then we will carry on. So not while we're waiting for dialogue for this actual encounter, I would like to ask one question that I'd like to see in the comments, and that is the question of the day. Do you like these run-throughs of how long, on how I like to do the farms, on the actual day, on how do I actually farm these stuff? Do you prefer these videos or do you not? I really don't mind which one, either or. I really don't mind at all. But they do tend to get a bit long. Like yesterday's video was like nearly half an hour and I was like, oh my god, that took a while. So just tell me if you prefer it or not, so to speak. But aside from that, I do have a little update that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be adding Happy's dredge leather farm into the WorthIt add-on. And as well as that, in the flippings module, we'll be adding the smelting module to the flipping part. So if you wanted to smelt different types of things, you can then pull all that up, even if you don't have the recipes to do so. So just to make sure that you can get a hold of all the relevant data that you need. I'll be adding that in later today. And then once that's done, I will carry on with all of the other different types of bits. But aside from that, we're just going to finish off the dialogue, and I'm going to be starting and then once I've finished all of that stuff for the day, we can then focus on getting our dredge leather rank 2. And I will get this. This is by far one of the most annoying things that I've had to contend with thus far. But I'm determined to get this rank. I know it's rank 2. And it's not rank 3, but I generally want this thing because I want to get in on this dredge leather thing like as fast as possible, because that would definitely increase our gold. Yeah, by far at the moment it's doing insanely well with all of the other different bits. I believe that we are in the next part of this encounter now, so that went a little bit faster than usual. So what you're going to be wanting to do is you'll get pulled into the heart of Yasharaj, and there's a couple of scenarios that happen. You just have to kill the Shahs within this, and then once you've killed the Shahs within the heart of Yasharaj, you can then attack Garrosh, which you will do. Just whack him, and then he'll come out, and then you can restart the encounter. And basically just leave yourself on auto attack, really, because he starts to go into this weird transformation, so to speak, like, Yasharaj is empowering me, and I will just blow you up with some azurite, and you've just lost the battle. But that is the first. But that one is the first raid that I've just done, and we've also got another one. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave instance because we've finished with all the different bits, and we don't care about the dialogue for Siege of Orgrimmar because you've done it way too many times, John, and that is. Yeah, it gets a little bit tedious after a while. But other than that, we're going to now go into the Terrace of the Endless Springs, and this is the other thing that I did. So we'll go into the Raid Finder, Terrace of Endless Springs, and it will ask us if we want to come in, and it will just teleport us there. This is very, very handy in order to just get things done. So there are 4 bosses within this raid now, and what we're going to be wanting to do is just take out the Shah before we can start the encounter, so to speak. So just to make sure that these guys die, I would like to just tag this guy and then tag this guy and then go boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room, and we'll be okay. So it's now just a case of waiting for these guys to do their jazz. And the thing with this boss fight is you just got to nuke them really, really fast, and you won't have to worry about any of the mechanics. I end up going for the Eldar first, the Eldar Esani, and mainly because he's got like some weird ass abilities that really are annoying. So I just make sure he dies first, then I do my AoE stuff and make sure that everyone else dies along with that. So yeah, if they do weird crap, that's probably why, but they're easy to kill if you've done it a couple of times. So Protectors of Endless Spring, 44 gold in raw gold, so we're gaining a load of raw gold with all this. I still haven't sent over any of the raw gold for this for the last couple of days. That's probably because I'm saving up some of this raw gold at the moment, and then I'll just transfer it over once I am happy with the amount on each character. At the moment, everyone's like just under 2,000 gold per character, but really, in all fairness, it's not a lot of gold. So now Sulong has just been corrupted, so what we're going to be wanting to do is just jump and fight him. And this one actually drops the battle pet that we're actually looking for. Obviously, these ones are a lower drop chance. Well, these ones have a higher drop chance than the Siege of Orgrimmar ones, and they go for a lot less gold. I can already tell that today is going to be a bust day when it comes to the battle pet farming, even though all of that jazz. But you do get some patterns and recipes and all that jazz, but they're only like 11 gold a piece. With the mop types of stuff, it's really hit or miss when it comes to your farming, so to speak. So just to bear that one in mind. It can be hit or miss whether the battle pet's actually worth it or not. I find that the Terrace of Endless Spring, it doesn't give you that much gold per hour, but what it does do is it has a higher chance of giving you that gold per hour, if you get me, so to speak. So it's more of a case of, do you want to do something that has a higher return, but there's a chance you're not going to get it. Like Siege of Orgrimmar, we've done it 5 times, we've got no battle pets from there. And the Black Fuse Bombling, for instance, goes for a hell of a lot of gold. So this is the last boss that you'll be wanting to do in this raid. You can obviously take out the Shah of Fear, but in all fairness, it's not worth doing all of that jazz, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, they doesn't drop 8 battle pets, so I generally don't really go for it. So we've just killed Lei Shi, and we're going to loot up. And we didn't get any different types of battle pets. But what we will do is we will vendor all of this jazz that we actually got. So we will just sell trash, and then we'll just vendor all of this. The majority of the time, this stuff, these epics aren't worth disenchanting. They're not worth overly that much. You can obviously get a little bit of an uptick, but it's not anything major. But as you can see, we've managed to gain like an extra 1,000 goldish, give or take, for just vendoring these mobs. So Siege of Orgrimmar and the Terrace of Endless Springs gives you a load of raw gold. So we're up to 2,442 gold. So today is obviously a bit of a bust day, which is kind of annoying. But other than that, guys, let's just get into the gold for the day. Now, I know today is going to be a bit of a lull day because we're not going to actually be making an awful lot. When it comes to the battle pets that we actually got for today, a bit of a bust for today. But obviously, we haven't had a bust day in quite a while for RNG farms. But what we did have is we managed to get one of the Azure Windseekers, which is 555 gold. And we also got 2 Spirits of the Spring, which is 300 gold. The region market value average is 1,500 for the Spirit of Spring, and the Azure Windseeker on region market value average is 1,700. So if you're on a medium to low pop realm, this may be worth your time to do the Terrace of Endless Springs. On high pop realms, we're tending to see that it's not really worth all that much. But the gold for the day for us is a measly 3,845 gold, and 1,655 gold is arcane dust from the other day. This is why I always bring an enchanter when you're doing raid farming, because you can add an additional lump sum of gold back into your account. And other than that, you've got, we also sold 1,475 gold worth of white trillium ore for 146 gold, 146 white trillium ore. Sorry, equaling in 3,845 gold. So what I did yesterday, and we will carry on with this in a second once we've received all of our gold. We are now up to a grand total of 202,435. But Dalla, you just got up to 2,555. My I know, but I sent over, instead of 29,000 gold, over to my alchemist to create the Vial of the Sands, which would have brought us down to about 220,000 gold. We actually sent over 58,000 to make 2 Vial of the Sands, and at this moment in time, we have 2 Vial of the Sands currently listed on our auction house. So if we go down to the bottom, we have 2 Vial of the Sands now on the auction house, which is pretty damn good, so to speak, and I'm pretty damn chuffed with all of that jazz. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much what we've got for the day. I'm just going to, if it's going to go up by thingy, I'm going to post these to the auction house quickly. They're not overly that great for the day. Not really much of a gold value. But at the end of the day, RNG-based farms, are they worth it? Sometimes. Are they a good time sink for a little bit of extra gold every week? Yes, they are brilliant for that. Overall, when it comes to RNG based farms, don't rely on that to be your primary method of making gold. Always use them as a supplementary method. So if you do get the battle pet, then you can then sell those on the auction house because of the RNG base. So if you wanted to do gathering, make sure that your gathering is out of the way first before you supplement with your battle pet farms, because you never know if you're going to get one or not. And obviously today was a bust. So that being the case, guys, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.